Okay, spending your time on the real priorities, particularly with how we are at the minute, having a lot of possibly a lot of downtime and free time on our hands. Um, I've always used a principle within social media of 80 10 10. 80% time inbound marketing, value added content, drawing people in, people getting to know you, people following you, getting that to know, like, and trust factor. 10% on a personal sort of like level, posting success quotes or influencer articles or different blogs. Anything that's personal to you. It could be a shot of you working or delivering a workshop or working on site somewhere. And then 10% direct sales, so 80 10 10. Not so long back, I was listening to an influencer that used the principle of 70 20 10. And this was to do with the different strategies and the different revenue streams coming into the business. So 70% of your main or your time should be on your focused on your growth strategies for your core products and services you have now. 20% on your next strategies for revenue generating, and then 10% on your future ones. So as in the case, if I was looking at previously to the coronavirus, I've got TCM UK Limited, I've got AdamPayne.me and the Business Growth Academy, and the additive manufacturing side. So 70% of my time would be focused on the core products and services within each one of those businesses to grow the business from that side, each one of it. Then 20% on the next one. So if I took the TCM UK Limited, that was one-to-one interventions working with managing directors and senior leadership teams within manufacturing businesses, right down to shop floor interventions. That was its core main function, so 70% of its time in there. Then I would look at 20% of the next revenue generating side of online workshops, online training, and that side. And then the next one could be a joint venture in doing something else with a couple of strategic partners from a consultancy point of view. So that's an example that they were looking at from a revenue generating side. But that also got me today thinking around the conversations I've had over the past week. And we were on a Zoom call earlier, and people deal with overwhelm. I deal with it. I get very fuzzed and brain buzzed around overwhelm with what I do. So I teach the big rocks exercise. So I'm going to read it out here. A teacher is addressing his class. He fills a jug with big rocks and asks the class, is it full? The class responds with a yes. So he adds pebbles to the jug. He asks again if the jug is full. And again the class responds yes. He says no, and now adds some sand to the jug. The sand and the pebbles represent the small daily tasks we fill our lives with. If we don't fit our big rocks in first, our lives will fill with only sand and pebbles. But if we start with our big rocks, we create room for what's important in life. The sand and the pebbles can only fill the spaces in between. And that got me thinking around that 7 20 10. 70% of our time should be focused on the big rocks, the things that are really going to turn the dials within our business from a growth and revenue generating point of view. Everything else is second to it. So we need to be focused on that. And when we look at that, we need to be an inch wide, mile deep. So there's no going that 50% or 60% and then moving on to the next shiny thing. We need to complete it and then move on. So we need to structure very, very deep, very, very focused, 70% of the time on the big rocks. The 20% then is on the next level priorities around that. And in filling the time. So 20% of the time is on the next level priorities. So that could be blogs and social media posting and that side. We then get into the 10%, which is the smaller, everyday 5-minute, 2-minute actions that crop up that just need to be using the Eisenhower matrix. We need to say that's an action, that's immediate, that's diarised in, that can be delegated and that can be binned off. So we can use all these different tools to really deal with the overwhelm we bring together. But I did think that 70-20-10 can be applied to your big rocks exercise as well. So if you do the what are the key things that I need to turn the dials on within my business now, 70% of my time needs to focus on those. 20% on the next level priorities and actions, 10% on the low level ones, and you manage that time in it.